Evening, everyone. Welcome to this special budget session. I will turn it over to manager to move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Budget 2024 budget meeting number 2. Last Monday, we went over capital improvements and extent and went over the general fund budget. Today, Terry's going to start off with an update on the general fund budget changes that we made, answer a few questions that came up last Monday. Then we're going to switch over to focus primarily on the sewer fund. We don't have much to discuss with the capital improvements, but anything's on the table if the board wants to bring anything up. So with that said, I'll turn it over to Terry.
Thank you. Welcome. Good evening, everyone. Just an update from last week's discussion. A revision was made to increase the non-uniform, non-union employees' salary from 3% to 4%. Adjustments were made to salary, pension, and Social Security tax accounts. Please note that the 4% increase is a possible increase for employees and that all increases are based on merit and performance evaluation. The second item that was requested was an update on current investments. Our long-term investments are currently earning between 4% and 5% interest. The township has 8 long-term investment accounts for multiple funds. Other operating accounts are earning 1 to 1.5%. Those are usually smaller or restricted funds that require separate accounts. In reviewing the interest earnings for the general fund and the sewer fund, 2023 will record the highest interest earnings over the last 15 years. So we're doing quite well with our interest. So hopefully that continues. Our second item is to review the sewer fund. And in comparing the 2024 budget to this year, sewer operating expenses has an overall increase of 8%, which is tracking above the current inflationary rate. Salary increases include contract increases for union employees and 4% for non-uniform employees. The health insurance increase is listed at 10.5%, and for Teamsters health insurance was an increase of 3.3%, and both are included in the sewer budget. In reviewing the budget, you will find certain expenditures increasing double digits, some with a 30 to 40% increase. The wastewater treatment plant operates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Operating a utility requires constant repairs and maintenance, and with additional upgrades and renovations to meet federal and state guidelines. Failure to meet these regulations can lead to fines and penalties, so a well-maintained and managed facility is necessary. An overview of a few items in the sewer fund with major changes over the last year include the following. The first department is the treatment department, number 8100. Treatment materials are up 20%. Chemical expenditures, actually in every sewer department, have increased range of 20 to 40%. Treatment repairs and maintenance, category 8137, is recording an increase of 45.7%, with large increases in most line items. Treatment contract services include increases to IT services, HVAC contracts, and other miscellaneous services. For collections, department number 8200, the East York Pump Station has an increase in repairs and maintenance, which is planned maintenance. And vehicle operations include an increase in fuel usage and cost. For administration, department number 8300, we have an increase in engineering services based on actual expenditures and increase in projects. The telephone services reflects a change and upgrade with Comcast over the last year. And mail service, we have postage increases for sewer billing. We estimate that at $4,000 per quarter. For lab services, department number 8400, there's an increase in the employee medical expenditures. We have a change from single to family coverage compared to last year. We have lab, industrial, and sludge disposal, pretreatment processing. All processing costs are increased and well above inflationary rates. The total operating expenditures totaled $12,975,567, which includes $3.8 million in depreciation expense, which is a non-cash item. On the revenue side, our revenue totals $9,511,100. We have changes in our interest earnings, which are up over last year based on current investment rates. Our sewer utility fees were calculated at the current 2023 rate. And tap-in fees are down based on slowing redevelopment plans in the community. The surplus planned for 2024 is $362,000, which will go to reserves. Just a reminder for capital improvements for 2024, we have $1,615,000 planned. Any questions?
Questions, anyone? Not sure I recall all that.
I think the key points to consider is across the board in the sewer fund, expenses are up. Specifically, the big ticket items would be maintenance and repair and the chemicals. If there aren't any specific questions on any of the line items at this point, we'll move into what we briefly discussed as a proposal to increase the sewer rates
Yeah, that's what I
$5
was
a
just looking
quarter.
at. So why don't we do that?
So if you recall, last year we raised them and
Five.
$5 a quarter,
Yeah.
and there should be an attachment in Novus is a breakdown. It's a memo from Terry to the board. It gives the history of our rate increases since 2007. And typically we did rate increases every 5 years, and they were around $5 a quarter when we did them. So this proposed increase is more frequent than we have done. But if you recall last year, when we presented the sewer fund budget, we actually were requesting that we needed $10 a quarter. And it was decided last year, and I recommended last year not doing a jump like that, to do a $5 a quarter for 2023, then another $5 a quarter in 2024, and then another $2 a quarter for 2025. So that's what we're proposing today. And in that attachment, Terry has a breakdown of the increased revenue by doing such.
Roughly $170,000 increase.
Correct.
Is $70,000 increase for the following. Questions or comments?
I'll just make one comment, focusing on the sewer. Um, As a standalone entity, I have no problem whatsoever with the $5 increase. And I know, I thought we were going to talk about or see something else, but I do know that we have at least one neighboring municipality that charges nearly double that amount. So I think our sewer rates are one of the biggest bargains that I'm aware of in York County, even at, the increased rate we're talking about. My only concern is the $20 a year increase. Isn't that roughly what we're going to cut the property tax by for the average homeowner?
It is, but it's unrelated, but it
I
is.
understand, but it kind of takes some of the luster off.
It does.
Well, if we have those statistics on neighboring townships, I would strongly suggest that when we put out the memo increasing the rate, that we show what neighboring townships are charging for the same services, which might take a lot of the sting out, especially if somebody's double our rate.
I don't know that I would want to say we're raising ours $5 a quarter and here's what Spring Garden charges and here's what. I don't know that I would want to call out the other municipalities, but I wouldn't have a problem saying our surrounding municipalities average this much,
Percentage rise above our rate.
but
That-
not
that would be
mention
fine.
them by
That would-
name.
Want to call it like the manager's name or anything? I think the percentage would do the trick.
Your neighbors very close to you pay $120 a quarter.
I also think maybe we shouldn't do that in the same announcement of the
The decrease in
decrease in taxes.
No, that would be a good idea to keep them separate.
They are separate entities. Comments, Don?
On mute, you're on
You're on
mute,
mute.
Don.
Don, you're muted.
Much safer that way for me to be muted.
Safer for us or for you?
Yes, definitely. I'll just make one comment that, I mean, I think the presentation that we got on, about the sewer needs and increase was excellent. I agree with the recommendations. As far as how we communicate this with the public, I pretty much don't have any hope in our ability to communicate those sorts of things effectively. So I've kind of given up on that front. Doesn't seem no matter what we do that nobody gets it.
You have a
And they
staff
really,
suggestion?
and they really don't care either, because with the money, they're looking at school taxes and things like that, and they just kind of lump us all together. But
Yeah, they blame us for school taxes. I've heard that many times.
yeah, and they look at everything, and I don't think most people have the ability to separate, to carry those two different ideas in their heads. But I think what we're doing is the right thing.
I'm good with this as well. And Mark's out there trying to hire us somebody who can get a better message across to the public, right?
Trying to, yes, sir.
All right, what's next?
We don't have anything else to present. We went over everything capital related last time in great length. We, as I said, started off with, we touched on the general fund after that, mostly last Monday. Terry answered a couple of those comments already, so I don't have anything else to present to the board. But we're here for any questions. Me and or the directors.
Anything else, gentlemen?
Does that mean we don't have our meeting on Wednesday?
That's what it means. So you're gonna work hard to try to come up with a question for them to answer for Wednesday?
Not me.
Just as well, we wouldn't have had a quorum anyway, Don.
All right. At this point, I will open up the floor to all of the public who is not here. Nobody in attendance on Zoom. So guess we can call this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.